Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Excited to be back once again. Please do me a favor. I want you to just share and bring in as many people as possible. Uh, it's another beautiful, 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 beautiful day. We are having conversations in regard to our future, the future of our country, our beautiful, beautiful country, Zambia. And it's another beautiful Tuesday. It's 14 days since we got a new president. So each and every week we come in and just do a lot of review and just assess a number of issues happening in this country. So we are very excited to have all of you guys joining in. So do me a favor, as per tradition, share and invite as many people as possible to be part of our conversation. And let me know what city, what country you are joining in from as we have this conversation. What's the city you're coming in from? We want to know what city, what country you're joining in from. So let's have a beautiful conversation. I'm just doing my quick shares on my end as I wait to get the comments and just to see where you're joining in from. Uh, you know, uh, as we get started. So do me a favor, bring in as many people, tag your friends, just and share on different platforms, groups. Like I always say, let's make wisdom sexy again. We share so many things, but things that really concern to our future and the future of our next generation, our sons and daughters. So we don't want our children to come and say, "Did any men or women live in this land?" It looks so deserted. It's like they left more trouble and issues than they did leave progress. So uh, if you don't live for the next generation, then you're just living a life that is just driven by you and just focused on you. So do me a favor, let us know what city, what country you're joining in from as we get started. So today we have an interesting conversation, and I have interesting people that we are having this conversation today. So let's quickly share. That's our topic for today. Should qualified Zambians offer themselves to work with the new government? Should qualified Zambians, and are Zambians shy to say, I am qualified and I believe that we can, I can be able to do the job that is available. And this afternoon, I have Rev Water and I have Pastor Chris in the house. Rev, how's it going? How's been your week so far?
Very, very good. I'm just amused. I don't want to digress the topic, but I started a series
Yeah.
on these marital tips, and oh my God, it's a landmine. I'm shocked at the reactions from my marriage. I'm shocked. I'm like, geez, is
Now,
it this bad?
now you are with two people that love to talk about those things. So it's a wrong time because this whole broadcast is just going to divert
I
instantly.
know. So
It
it's been a good.
is
It's
going
been
to
a good
just
week.
like. By the way, let's do that conversation this weekend. This week, go on this platform. Let's do something relationship wise.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
good,
would,
Good.
very good. Because I think there's a lot of hurting men because I've been doing a series that's focused on the men, and they
yeah.
they are feeling my pressure. They're like, you should also talk to the ladies. I'm like, no, I'm not talking to any ladies. Forget about the ladies. It's you.
But
That's a
that's
good
what
So
happens
combination.
when the day you're talking to the ladies,
they'll cry.
they'll cry. The day you talk to the men, they cry. But men are actually better, Rev. I must defend our brothers. Men are
No
far
problem.
better.
Like you say, we don't want to digress, so let's leave it.
Pastor
But
Chris, how are you
definitely,
doing?
you both are very competent to discuss this subject.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing very fine, and I'm steered up with the topic that we are having this afternoon. and
Yeah.
also the ice-breaking topic that you have brought. Both topic
Yeah.
are just too marvelous and too wonderful. And I thank God that the Reverend is on the men's side and I am on the women's side. So this is a huge combination.
That's a good one.
Yeah. You see, I'm running
Yeah.
a program called A Woman and Her Family. So this is a very exciting time. But we have a very important topic which Coach Steady has brought, which we don't want our children to say, did somebody exist here? I think that is a paramount question. That if that is the approach of thinking, it was going to create a lot of change in our mindset, because
Yes.
most of the people, they just live for now.
Yeah.
We don't think of what happens. That's why even the planning is 5 years instead of 100 years. So those are challenges that we are facing. So we are dealing with some of very vital and important issue this afternoon. And the week has been a great week, and a lot of anxiety and expectation, especially when it concerns who is who, and who is going to govern us and who is going to drive us. I think those are the
Yeah.
anxieties that have been coming into the heart. We have been looking forward to see, not necessarily just to have the cabinet in full, but we are trying to see who is ready to take this, first of all, to face the challenge, somebody that is going to be the opposite of what has been prevailing. I think those are the things that we are really putting into our heart. We are not necessarily crying that the government should be there or this should be there, but necessarily we are very much concerned to say, let not history repeat itself, but let history teach us so that we see the way forward where we are going. And anything that we see that will be wrong, we will raise our red flags again and say, no, 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 no. We don't want again to be drawn back for 5 years or for 10 years. Let's ensure that we move forward. If we can take a huge step to ensure that the right thing is done, let's do that. So there is a lot of expectation this week, but we thank God that it has been a great week and everything is intact with the 3 people or the 4 people in place. So it has been a great week so far. So let's see what this week has in store, because there are 2 major things that are coming: the cabinet and also the opening of the parliament. So it's a great week and a lot of expectation.
So before we go to our topic for today, should qualified Zambians offer themselves to work with the new government? Do you think we are putting a lot of pressure? I know we had a conversation last week. Do you still think we are putting a lot of pressure on our new government or our president, Rev?
I, you know, yes, we are putting pressure, but at the same time, the levels of expectation are very high. One of the things that is obvious is that the head of state sold himself very powerfully as a candidate. He said a lot of things, and you know very well. I'm a coach in cognitive science. I'm also a marketer. And one of the things we always say in marketing, which you can't do in politics, but we say it in marketing, is always under promise and over deliver. In this case, there was a lot of like serious promising. So people are anxious. People are edgy. They are expecting something. But personally, I'm for him taking his time. I think let him take his time. But of course, the challenge is that everything in government has come to a standstill, which is very true. I mean, I have payments that are due to come from various government circles. They've all been frozen. So that puts us in a bit of a quagmire. But at the same time, it's totally understandable because of what's going on. There's a lot of cleanup that's going on. We are aware that right now there's been specific instructions to watch for big transactions, both going out of the bank and into the bank. I'm aware that there's a huge amount of stash of cash that's out there in the hands of some very interesting individuals. And so we're waiting to see what goes on. There's a lot of pressure. I think the sooner we can have government running so that everybody knows where they are, the better we can move. Because no decisions are being made right now. because everybody's waiting for cabinet. But the president has promised that this week he's going to name the cabinet, and he has to have the cabinet in full when parliament opens. So either way, we're not going past the 10th. That at least I know. So we'll get the cabinet finally. When? I don't know. Maybe it might be Friday. Maybe it might be Thursday at 3 a.m. I don't know. The rate we're going. But I mean, it's gonna come. Either way, it's gonna come.
Well,
We're
awesome.
used to,
Miss
we're used
Chomba,
to
welcome.
3 a.m.s.
Awesome. Miss Chomba, welcome. Good to see you. How's
Thank
been
you
your
so,
week?
so much. The week
And do you think the
so far
president
has
is
been
taking
good.
too long?
Well, of course, I'm naturally an impatient person, but I've been talking myself into being patient. Say, okay, he knows what he's doing, let's be patient. And obviously, I'm one of those people who would have loved to see him announce the cabinet just the following day following the inauguration ceremony. Yeah, but obviously, he promised us that he will be announcing the cabinet soon. He's doing some checks and balances on that. And I think we can trust that word and allow for the process to be done. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And welcome everyone that is joining us on Facebook. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, so this is our conversation. So this is all of us talking. You may not be on the screen with us, but your opinion in the comments, just putting out there, sharing and inviting makes you part of a conversation. So it's not complete without your comments, your questions, and then we'll be able to take them on and deal with them. I like to say that I think is it because is it that Zambians want a cabinet, or they just want to see who's gonna be picked? Because so is our question or our quest to have a cabinet instantly a matter for Zambians, or we just want to see who's gonna be there?
Yeah.
So
You know what?
what do you think, Miss
Actually,
Tomba?
I was actually thinking that I think for 3/4 of the people, most of them just want to see who's going to be in the cabinet. Of course,
Yeah.
like Reverend was saying, that a number of people are being affected right now by how slow things are. And whether we want to deny it or not, yes, a lot of work has come to a standstill in most of the ministries. And some
Yeah.
of our fellow Zambians are giving that as an excuse to not doing work. They're saying, oh, Kaidi, we're waiting for the minister to be able to sign on this thing. Oh, no, we are waiting for directives once the minister comes in. But for the many Zambians who are putting pressure, actually, they're just curious. They're just
Yeah.
anxious to see who's going to be in the cabinet. And then others are just waiting for that opportunity so that they can begin to criticize on the appointments,
Yeah.
so that they can begin to throw stone, throw fire.
Throw
So,
shade.
yes.
Wow. Okay. So, well, I personally feel like I'm very patient enough. I want the president to take as much time as he can take to be able to pick his team, because your teammates and the people that you're running with, the team that you're running with really matters a lot. You can't just pick anybody because you are under pressure, with what you need to do. So I think for me, I maintain my stance. Like I said last week, the president needs to take as much time that he needs to take before he makes these critical decisions about who he's bringing into his team, because it's not an easy task. And I know sometimes people like to trivialize the role that he has, because people are saying, oh, he didn't have a plan, this is why he's confused. It's not like that, because now you have, because even him, I'm sure he's even seen some true colors from people that he's been working with, that he's thinking, oh, this one, giving them, this role to be able to do, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. So it's not an easy decision that he needs to take. So I'm still game to say the president must take as long as he wants to take, for him to be able to make the right decisions. regarding who he's bringing in to work with him and take this journey with him. So I think for me, that's non-negotiable. Let it run as much as, let him take as much time as he wants to take. Of course, like what Rev said, Parliament needs to open and that decision has to be made. So we need to be patient enough for us to be able to do what we need to do. So there's no need for us to rush him and make him make decisions that he didn't want to make. So that's what we need to do. So today we're talking about, should qualified Zambians offer themselves to work with the new government? Uh, we spoke a bit about it last week. We said a lot of us, the way we were, like the way we grew up as Zambians, we are not confident enough to be able to say, I can do this job, I can run this department, I'm available to take up this role. So we always shy away from offering ourselves to be able to say, my name is Rev Water, and give me some water department out there and I can deal with it. Rev, what's your take on today's topic?
Absolutely, we must offer ourselves. In fact, I think the other day I posted something. I said, instead of people lining up looking for jobs and what they can get from the president, I think that's that's just me, but I just think it's lame. I think what we need to do is be thinking outside the box. What solutions can we take to the president? I was very happy during his inauguration speech when he called upon the entire private sector, Zaki, Zambia Business Forum, whatever, everybody, to come and become cooperating partners in helping to move Zambia forward. And for me, I'm actually taking that challenge very seriously. Just keep watching this space. We're not playing. We're behind the scenes, we're doing what we can, and hopefully, all things being equal, we're going to go and offer solutions to the government of the day. One of the reasons I'm very excited about the current government is that they come in with a lot of goodwill. We know the kind of deplorable, leadership we had in the past, and now we've moved away from that. So we're hoping, and that's the word I'm going to use there, because you can't have confidence on a human being 100% unless you're from Mars and you're very naive. But we're hoping that in this new government, there's going to be that willingness. And the president certainly has set the tone. He is demonstrating that. And we're hoping that he is going to be create an environment so that those of us that have solutions that are very tangible, very proper, that can catapult this country and take us from a third world to a first world country within the space of 40 years, with very specific strategies within the 10 years and all these things, are going to be able to offer what we have. So I'm extremely excited, and from where I'm standing right now, it's looking very good. So let's see where we go. So we're going there with solutions, and I think that's what we should be doing as Zambians. Let's go with solutions. Let's go with ways in which we can lift the poverty of our people, whether it's in the education sector, health sector, industry, commerce, all the various human endeavor, agriculture. What can we bring to the table? How can we help our people to upgrade in terms of their standard of living? And remember, the president has made some very, very serious promises. It's really, I was looking at the list. It's a crazy ambitious list. And so with that kind of list, he's definitely not going to do it alone. So people like you, Coach Ted, people like you, Sister Chomba, our brothers just off air right now, Pastor Chris, all of us need to bring something tangible to the table, not go there looking for handouts. In the words of JFK, ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
So, Ms. Chomba, what's your take?
Sorry, I had muted myself. Okay, so before I go further, let me just read the comment from Vincent. Vincent is
Can we keep
following.
it for later? Maybe we hear your opinion before we go to the comments.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, sure. Not a problem. Yeah. So we're talking about whether people should offer themselves. I think that I know there'll definitely be this this complex that because you did not participate in the elections, you did not participate in the campaigns, that you should not offer yourself up. I think we must be aware that everybody has a different gifting. Sometimes there's some people who are just not good at campaigning. They will not go out there and bring crowds of people. And then there are those who are very good at doing this. I was jokingly telling somebody to say, the MMD has a solid group of people, but I think they did not have any praise singers. They did not have dancers. So they did not attract some favorable crowd, even though they had a good message. Yeah, so, and I think that's it could be a topic for another day, but I think they surrounded themselves just with fellow pastors, whatever, and come on, those people won't go out in the campaign mood. They won't go and sing the bustele that they sing out there when campaigning. So sometimes it's not everybody. Reverend there, yourself, coach, you probably won't go and start dancing all those songs they sing. Yeah? Whatever. So
Bustele.
Bustele. But me I can. So yeah, so we need to be aware that we all have different roles to play, and we are one body. We all come together to make what is known as Zambia. So if those who are qualified, those intellectuals now know that they are qualified, they can do something for the nation, let them come forth. They should not be shy of declaring it, of saying that they are capable of doing that. I think they should be bold enough. They should not come out with a false sense of humility, that waiting until the president is able to identify them. What if the president doesn't ever get to hear about them? So they have to come out. They have to bring their competences out in the open so that the president and his team can know that Mr. So-so, Mrs. So-so is there in the nation.
Coach, would she say that statement again?
Which statement?
Which statement? The last one?
Can you hear me? Pastor Chris, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm
okay,
here.
Which statement did you want her to say?
The last statement which she has just said, I didn't pick it clearly. The last point that she was bringing. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I was saying that it is just right and better for the intellectuals, for those who are qualified, to come out in the open and bring out their competencies, their credentials, so that the president and his team can know that they exist, that they are there in the country and they're offering their services.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's great. Pastor Chris, your take.
Okay. Yeah. My take is in twofold. The big question that we have here is the qualification part of it. Can qualified Zambians? Now, there are two forms of let me say there are three forms of qualifications that are going to be considered. I'm sure we know that there are those that really are saying, I am UPND and you are this and you are this. There are those. So on the part level, yes, we can have those who can qualify. We have no problem with that, and you have to work with that. Then we have another level of qualification, and that is your academic qualification. It's very important. We know that for you to hold any ministerial position or any position, you must qualify for it. But there is also a third level of qualification that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a decent human qualities that are required for development. that's another level of qualification. You can qualify academically, but do you have decent human qualities that would help you to stand in your office which you are qualified with? I think that's another level. So for us to say, okay, this one is qualified, what are we looking for? We are looking for somebody who is sincere. Is this person, he has the qualification, yes, but is there a level of sincerity in him? Because what are we battling with? What is the challenge that we are facing as a nation today? We are facing a challenge that has to do with the truth and honesty. That's what we are dealing with. Why has the other party left? Why have people not developed confidence? They have not developed confidence because there was a problem with the position. They developed that confidence to say, let's remove this because they could qualify for the job. But now let's ensure that the developmental qualities that are required in the area of honest and sincerity, they are not there. If you check some of the ministries that are questioned right now, these are ministries that were run by qualified people, and they are not for expatriate. They are Zambians. So they offered themselves, but they lacked in certain qualities. So the question that we should begin to reverse now is, what are the qualities that we want to see in some of these leaders that are stepping into the office? These are things that are they straightforward? These are things that people are looking for. Do they love truth? Are they there to face the truth? Are they aware of their own imperfections so that they start working on them? They are not trying to improve them when they get the power. I think those are the things that we are looking for. Are we looking for people that are not going to look for excuses that they are going to give? Now, right now, to me, the question that would come would be, okay, coach, you have come into the nation. We don't expect you to start giving us excuses for your new office that you have occupied. Because when you are coming into this office, you know what you are able to deliver. You know what your vision is not based on somebody that was there. Your vision is based on what you have seen, which is going to bring development in the nation. So what are we looking for? We are not looking for Mr. H or Mr. B or Mr. R. We are looking for credible, quality people that have developmental mentality who are going to occupy the office that they are going to turn around this nation in a totally different way. Those are the people that we are looking for. Those are the people that we are saying, if you qualify for this, we are ready to go. We shouldn't have any questionable thing. Now, I know that there is a line of thought that when you are fighting corruption, you don't kick everyone. You keep some in the system so that they help you to see how they were operating, how others were doing, so that they give you I know that we have that. But now, the cleaning that is taking place, which Rev spoke about, is being done. Now, it should not be done just at certain levels. It should be done worldwide or countrywide, and that is the direction they are setting the tune, and that is the direction that we should go, not only in the preamble, but it should go on and on. That is the way. So do we have people that are sincere? Do we have people that are honest? Do we have people that love the truth? If we have, why are you not ready to offer yourself? And let me quickly speak this, which is a serious challenge. I don't know the problem that we have with the mentality that, oh, if you are a Christian, you should not involve yourself into the activities of politics. Okay, but this is another mindset which is, I don't know, because if we read the Bible, we will totally see that what people say and what the Bible say is totally a different thing. Jesus has completely said, you are the light of this world. He didn't say you are the light of a denomination church. He said you are the light of this world. So Jesus is the light, and he brought that light. And he said you don't light a light and hide it. No, he said you put it on it should be shining. So if there is so much darkness in the world, where is the light? Why are you hiding the light? We are totally reading the Bible in reverse gear, instead of reading it the way it's supposed to be. and we are using the same religion to tie our own destination, our own life. How can you belong to a certain church? You are not casting your vote, but you sit down to check the votes, how they are going. How? Why should you sit down and begin? What is your problem? Why should you comment on it? Why should you say things are getting? Why? You shouldn't say that. But then you have to know that you are not in heaven. You are here on earth. And as long as you are here on earth, let the earthly principles or kingdom principles that are going to change the world, let them be applied. Jesus said, you are the light. Why do you hide that light? Now, we only have churches that have come out in the open, which have hidden their votes. I don't know why the rage is they're just there to show that they are Zambians, but they are not there to make any decisions. Why are you separating God from the things? The Bible says the earth belongs to God and all its fullness belongs to God. Why are you seeing something that is getting decayed and you are quiet? And yet the Bible says, let your will be done on earth, not in your church, but on earth as it is in heaven. So we need to read the Bible correctly. We need to apply it correctly so that we follow the things that are clear. Our mindset should completely change. That is the politics area, even to sports area. It is wrong for some of the churches even to watch football because they told their children to say, don't involve yourself into worldly activity. That's why there are churches where you see that talent has been buried of children because they are told playing football is not good. They are buried. Tennis is buried. Golf is buried. All the sports activities, they are buried. So let's begin to look at things in a way that is clear. When you say we don't want to corrupt people, who is corrupting the people? These people, they don't corrupt themselves. It is us citizens. So we should also begin to qualify ourselves for the task that is ahead of us. The cleaning should start with an individual, then it will go up into the offices up there.
All right. So one of the things that we is, I think Rev, every one of us has mentioned that, and I guess also that's what we always talk about, the mindset change, changing the culture, the way people do things. One of the critical things is if there are qualified Zambians out there that are watching out there, Rev, Ms. Chomba, Pastor Chris, if there are Zambians that are watching and they believe they can be able to do what needs to be done, and they're able to work around what needs to be worked on. I think there's a feedback.
It's definitely not me.
If we have that as Zambians, what do we need to do? What do we need to work around? Because right now, I believe the president is strongly guarded, not just by state police, not just by state police, but Ministry of Cadres and connections, the people that own now UPND. He must have. You can't have access Kulibakateka unless no one comes through. To the president except you come through me. I'm sure there are circles like that. In the UPND and the new government. I guess now the president is heavily guarded. What's the best way for Zambians that believe can offer, different expertise to Bali and his government for him to be able to create a success? Because there are certain people that are saying, hey, you can't have access to this man. You're not going to penetrate. What do you think should be the process? What do they need to do? Because I'll tell you one thing. Oh, by the way, I never told this story. I run an organization called the Steady Divine Network. And one point we had launched a project. It was called the Mentor Zambia, just going to provide mentorship. And I had written to different organizations. I'd written to State House. I'd written to a lot of, just for them to come on board and be part of that project. And I remember I was at State House and I was taking a letter and somebody said to me, and they said, you have to pay, you have to pay, for you to be able to have access and get the help you need for your project. And I will never forget the words that I said, and I say them until today. And I say, the president needs me. I do not need him. And I said, I have a project that can help this country. So he needs me. I am not here because I am looking for favors, personal favors. I'm good. If I never did anything, God will still sustain me. But I have something that he needs for his government to be able to empower the people of this country. So I would rather not do this than to have access to him and come and be part of my project. I don't need it. That was the end. And I said, I don't even need it. I don't even need to, I don't expect a call, from this space, because there's no way I am buying my way into helping my country. If my country needs my services and my help, I would rather it is done the right way. What do you think with this background? What do you think should be the process, Rev? And then Ms. Chomba, you can take it up.
Okay, so I feel that definitely we come from a really rotten culture, and I'd done a voice note earlier in our group and mentioned that
Yeah.
we need transformational leadership. This is the one
Yeah.
thing that we now need as Zambia. We can't run away from it because the rot is deep. You know this. Whether it's traffic
Yeah.
officers, whether it's accountants in both public and private organization, quasi-government, everywhere, procurement officers. I mean, the rot is deep. Even schools, if you want your child to be admitted into a particular school, you find you may need to do a favor and pay somebody. So we're at a very rotten place as a people, and that's getting
Yeah.
worse. But so for the president to create a meritocracy, which is a kind of rulership which operates on merit rather than nepotism and cronyism, then we need a total transformational process. So the leader has to take on a holistic approach. And this is going to be the way that Zambia will be transformed. So it begins,
Yeah.
I use the analogy of wineskins. I said, you can't put, Jesus said it, you can't put new wine in old wineskins because they just rip apart and all the wine is ruined. So meaning you take these good ideas, but you go impose them on the same governmental forces that have been enduring probably 20 years of this nepotistic cronyism we've seen. Because let's admit, it didn't start with the PF, it started with the MMD. It got worse with the PF. The PF just added steroids to it, like they just took it to a whole other level. But the truth is that they found a rotten system and they said knife tidieko. And you can see
Mm.
that even with the current government now who are coming in, there are people within who are saying, vanzatu vaje ifetisade. It can't happen. So you see, we have a rot. It's a terrible rot.
Yeah.
And so the president needs transformational leadership. And you know this already. All of you here are familiar with the concept of transformational leadership. And we were discussing earlier with Chomba, and of course, I argued with some of her points. But look, I'll take this opportunity and Chomba can answer me. But the reason I said what I said, Chomba, is because, it's amazing how many churches, and I think church is a good place. Let me start with church. It's amazing how many churches are propagating a dependency and entitlement thinking. I mean, I just find it amazing because, for example, this morning I posted a post on my, the very annoying subject I do, why prayers aren't seemingly working for many African believers. I know people hate me for that series, but you know what? For me, it is a
But you
glaring
see,
elephant in the room.
when I saw your poster, actually I scheduled it to be shared on the Talk Lounge Zambia, because I think if anybody hates you for that, there's something wrong with them. You can't be in your right mind and read a post like that and take offense. There's something wrong with your thinking.
Because and that's what we're saying, our coach. We're saying
Yeah.
there's a systemic anomaly. There's a serious systemic level problem in the thinking of our people. Because if people can be going to church for 10 years and everything in your life has fallen apart, there's a problem with that Jesus. For me, that you're following the wrong Jesus, because the Jesus I'm following, which I know you're following, says that abundant life is my portion. The Jesus I follows says that my yoke is light and my burden is easy. My Jesus says, I will give you rest from all your labors. That's what my Jesus says. Now, how is it possible that you come into Jesus and everything in your life is falling apart? Everything is falling apart. And so that mindset I'm seeing in many circles of the church, I also see in many circles of secular government, because we are seeing the same thinking and it has to change. So bottom line is transformational leadership, which is going to confront the thinking, because for me, it's the thinking, it's the culture. I mean, coach, there are still people today who look at rich people and they snicker in jealousy and envy. There are people who say, "Awe uja muntu obvious agwira koto gwira." Now you think like that about rich people. When are you ever going to be rich? So, which means there are people who think the only way I can succeed and help Zambia is to go to the president. I am telling you today that if you take your gift and begin to disperse it within society and do it with chimwera, it won't take long. The Bible says, see a man gifted in what they do. It will not take long before they stand before kings, because your reputation will go before you. You don't need somebody. And that's the part now where I quote the charismatic. God will connect you beyond your networks. He will connect you. He will give you wisdom beyond your age. He'll give you money beyond your resources. He'll give you connections beyond your birthplace. That's the God we worship. Not this thing where every day people are praying, week in, week out, month in, month out, marriage is falling apart, finances are through they're down. No. We need to change that whole thing completely.
Awesome. Thank you, Rev. Ms. Chomba, you can read the questions. I'll put them there and then you can add in your contribution. And I know, Rev, you didn't answer my question, so I'm going to come back to you. I've gotten what you have said. It's clear, but you didn't answer what I asked you. So Ms. Chomba will give her view, and then Ms. Chomba will do her part. She's going to read some comments and then also give out her view.
So, should I start with the one from Vincent? Vincent Banda says the problem is that qualified people don't want to do dirty work involved during campaigns, and when the unqualified guys do the work, the former parades themselves by discrediting people who work to change things. Thank you, Vincent.
Sorry, I have to comment on that one.
Okay.
Sorry, can I
go
comment
ahead.
on that one?
Yeah.
For me, this, I mean, all due respect to Vincent, but this is an entitled mindset. If you see, if we're talking about,
he has a point.
He has a point, but it's entitled, because he's saying, I work harder than that one, so I'm entitled to more. Do you remember Jesus gave the weirdest parable? Anybody remember the parable? Jesus said, in the morning, there was a group that went to work, and the boss promised them 1 denarii. And then at lunchtime, he went to get some more. Then in the late afternoon, he went to get some more. And then in the evening, he went to get some more. Now, when he came to pay, he started paying everybody this 1 denarii. And then the morning guy said, hey, no, that's not right. But do you remember what Jesus said? For me, that story exemplifies the fact that many times we may be there from the beginning, but it doesn't mean that we're the only ones entitled to see the progress of the kingdom. Some will come late,
but
and
Rev,
that's where Jesus says the last will be first and the first will be last.
It's only fair? Yeah.
It's fair, but it's the kingdom. No, it's fair, but it's the kingdom. The kingdom says it doesn't matter who comes in, as long as the end is better, that's what's okay. No, it's fair, but it's the kingdom. The kingdom says it doesn't matter who comes in, as long as the end.
Okay, there was a bit of an echo there. I think what I was trying to say, Rev, is that I think here's what I personally believe. If President HH has got a qualified team, and then now qualifications in the order of what Pastor Chris mentioned, which I 100% agree with Pastor Chris. If President Hakainde has got men and women that did all the dirty work, that went in with him 100%. And they are available. They have the qualifications. They have the character. They are ready to take in the work. Should we blame him for picking the men and women that? I'll give an example. There's a lot of people that I know personally, Momba to be one of them. I personally, and I don't want to feel like I'm entitled, because we've seen these men and women take bullets when all of us were looking cute. All of us were looking cute in our homes and in our places. I have a problem, and in fact, if there's another lady that follows me on Facebook, she's taken in bullets. She's taken in bullets. If they fail, they should fail on themselves, because I feel, for me, if he does an analysis, he should start with his house.
I agree. I mean, people like Ruth Dante, Martha Mushipi, there are so many who've taken bullets, and definitely if they qualify, they should be the first choice. I am totally for that. But what I'm saying is, once he goes past that criteria and he finds there's nobody, then I don't think one should say, no, because these took bullets, even if they don't qualify, no, let them come in. I think then that's where we miss it. But definitely the Ruth Dantes, the Mombas of this world, and the Martha Mushipis, who took so many bullets to their own detriment of their, practices being squeezed. No, definitely. I mean, certainly those need
but
to be
another
there.
thing also, it's also to be, I think the other side of this coin, Rev, is it's for us, we are so entitled to want jobs, that we didn't fight for. When UPND was going through issues, when HH was going through issues, it's entitled for us who think we are qualified to be crying for the jobs that we didn't work for. It also
we shouldn't even be crying for the jobs. Yeah, me, we shouldn't even be crying for jobs. And in fact, for me, I even go a step further. The ones who were busy going on campaigns, bad mouthing the UPND president, today they want to say, we want to work.
They can hang. They should go and look for a Zesco transformer and hug it. They can hang
it. Yes.
But did you see?
We are also raising a culture of people that don't know loyalty. You only want to be my friend when things are popping. You only want to associate with me.
You see, Coach, I think to me that's where I have problem there.
Ms. Choba,
I certainly have problem
you're calling the shot.
with the.
It's okay. I'm enjoying this. Go ahead.
We are not them. We are not these people. To me, these people, they know the kind of life that they have lived. Am I on there, Coach?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Okay, we seem to have lost Pastor Chris.
Oh, yes, Coach. Am I on?
Yes, you are.
You are. Yes.
You can get me?
Yes.
Yes, Coach.
Yes, we get you. Yes, we get you.
Hello.
Yes, we can get
Yes,
you.
Coach.
I think
his network is
acting up. Okay. Okay, Chomba, you can continue with the questions and the contribution. Maybe I'll add my own later.
Okay, all right. Okay, it seems, there's a bit of an interruption there with his internet. He will come back with his comment. Okay, let's proceed. I was going to make a very controversial example, but Smith Panda says, doesn't the president choose his or her cabinet before entering into office so that when he comes in power, it's just a walkover thing? Anyone wants to give a reaction to that?
Well, he does have what they call a shadow cabinet, but the truth is, just quickly. Anyway, he does have a shadow cabinet, but the truth is that when he gets into that seat, he gets briefing from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He gets briefing from the intelligence. He gets briefing from the cabinet and government arms and security wings. So it gives him a very, very different perspective. Very different. I can assure you that when he gets into that seat, he even gets briefings and dossiers on all the people he wants to pick. And there's a lot of information that he is not privy to that he now becomes privy to when he sits in that seat. So as a result of that, that's why we end up seeing a situation where some people seemingly were loyal, seemingly were in there, but they are not picked. It's because of that other
Okay.
information we are not privy to.
Awesome. That's a good point,
Thank you
Rev.
so
That's a good
much.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Spencer Lichaba says the big question is what is the selection criteria, or what processes should one go through before standing as a leader apart from the grade 12 paper? Thank you, Spencer, for that message. We can move on to the next message. Um,
Uh, Let me just put. Sorry, I'm just going. Maybe we should try. Let me see. Okay.
Okay, he also says, I strongly feel that leadership is beyond academic qualifications. Very important point there, Spencer. Chester C. Siajunza says the caliber of Bowman, Lusambo, and other cadres who don't have the needed intellectual capacity should not even be allowed to be MPs. Well,
I disagree. I disagree because an MP represents his people. And if we begin to use intellectualism and elitism as a standard for rulership, very quickly we'll have a disjointed grassroots. Personally,
But
it
Rev,
doesn't matter
also,
who's MP.
also
I
the other
believe I
side.
believe they can undergo. Mm. They can undergo, I believe they can undergo orientation, training, and schooling as MPs so that they are brought up to par. But really, elitism is always going to be that way if we begin to say, no, such a person, such a person. As long as they've got a grade 12 certificate, I think that's good enough. The rest they can always catch as they go. But let's allow as many grassroots people to get there instead of using the elitist, educated type of viewpoint. That's my view. And I'm a scholar. But I believe totally in
Here's
inclusiveness.
here's why
And that,
here's where I have a different opinion, Rev, to what you said.
okay.
Yeah, I think what is he gave a specific person. So I do not think he's disqualifying this man he's labeled and mentioned based on where he's coming from. But I think it's his character, the things Pastor Chris mentioned. So I don't think he's judging him based on look, this is a man who did the most unthinkable things. This is a man
But
that
then
I
let
don't.
me,
He.
I hear you, coach. I hear you, coach. But let me give you a very good example. Do you see what happened in Petauke? In Petauke, JJ Emmanuel, whatever his name is, had an issue. So the party chose not to pick him and they chose to float, what's her name? Dora Silia. But JJ was popular on the ground, so popular that he was able to go in his own independent state and he won a landslide victory. So you see, this is where again people like Bowman may be popular on the ground because look how he won in Kafuvu or wherever he's from, Kavushi. He won resoundingly. And you cannot deny democracy is about people. That's the funny thing about democracy. So you may choose not to adopt a person, but the people can say kanshi ifwe tukasankaweka. They'll just pick their own, and that person will go independent and they win. And we've seen it in this election, both within the UPND and the PF. They learned bitter lessons because a lot of independents won because they were trying to use that thing of saying, no, these ones, they've got questionable character, so let's go with the others. Democracy is about who's popular on the ground. And I think that's something that we can't run away from.
I think for me that's one thing I will fight. It's the same thing as saying politics is about numbers. So we can be immoral because we are famous or we are popular on the ground.
I
Which I
agree. I
personally
agree also.
which I have
So
which I have an
it's a
issue with,
balance.
is we
Yeah,
also need to
yeah.
start speaking to our Zambians that just because somebody flashes you money, just because somebody gives you money and is popular, doesn't make them right for you. Sometimes we need to set a standard so high because we're talking about transformation. So we need to take this type of mindset to our people. Look, I can come and build you a school. I can come and buy you vitenges and leave meal every week at your doorstep. But if my character is questionable, if I am doing it at the expense of the Zambian people, it's like, here's what I am doing. I'm an MP, I'm in government. I go and steal from your tax and come and give you change of what I stole from you. I have a problem with that. And
Then
then
you
it
see,
makes
for me,
me famous.
do you know how far, what's even worse, coach? Just now that you've raised that topic, look at the popularity of a wizard that is living in South Africa right now. Everybody knows that A, he's a wizard. B, he's a
Yeah.
liar. C, he's a soon to be convicted child molester. D, he uses wizardry and witchcraft to put people in power. E, he even insults on air. But look at how popular he is. So you can see that the mindset of the electorate also is problematic. And like you're saying, this thing of transformation, it's a big issue. Even the churches, there's work. We were talking about this one earlier. I'm sure Pastor Chris will agree. We were saying that even the level of discipleship right now is pathetic, because the way Christians talk on social media, I even said, no way. You
If
cannot be
at
talking like that
all,
and you
if
go to
at
gospel
all there is
embassy.
even any discipleship going
I
on.
tell you, I always say
Yeah.
this. There's no way. Me, I know
This is why
Pastor,
me,
what's
I
his
have
name?
saved.
Okay,
We're
listen,
gonna go, Miss
before you
Chomba,
come in.
take it over.
Okay, but before you
Okay.
come,
So
listen.
I think that
There's
should
no
be
way.
another. Uh-huh.
No, but listen, there's no way a person can be going to gospel envoys. I know Pastor Cholwe and his standard, and then they behave in a particular way. Or they go to Bread of Life. I know Bishop Imakando and his standard for the pastors, and they behave in a particular way. So you begin to realize that there's a disconnect somewhere. This discipling isn't working because the majority are just goats on the pews. Sorry to say, goats. They are looking for
Wow.
entertainment.
Yeah.
They are not sheep. They are not sheep
Mhm.
being shepherded. They are goats looking for entertainment. That's why that wizard, when he comes on air, 10, 50,000. If we had, I can tell you, Coach Ted, if we put that man on this lineup right now, we'd be at 100,000 views as we speak. So anyway, back to you, Chomba.
Okay, so I think we should line up a topic in this regard and come and talk about it. Clearly, yeah, people are on fire there. So Peter Kadochi says, first of all, people need to understand that you can't prepare for work today because preparation started years ago, just like the president prepared himself for years. So whoever thinks they are ready and qualified to work and contribute to the development of the country should today should have started years ago, because we would check you for the last 10 years. What have you been doing? Wow, quite profound there. Thank you, Peter, for the profound comment. Jonathan Sikombe says the system of government we have requires that a person chooses between politics and being a professional. We need real technocrats who can work in politics and not just career politicians. Thank you, Jonathan. That's yet another profound comment. Chavala Emmanuel Mulundu says, you are right, Reverend. The entitlement mentality is wrong, and it's what brings in patronage instead of service. Thank you, Chavala, for that wonderful comment. Chavala Emmanuel also says, doesn't it occur to you that some may only be good in what they used to do during the time and not now? So, yeah, I think which is what we were
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah. Wonderful. Absolutely. John Jean Matanda, our faithful participant there, says taking bullets and being a leader are two different things. The many people when I took bullets secretly, lost friends, lost businesses, not to be employed by the government, but conduct business freely and have equal opportunities to conduct business. Well, I'm sure you understand what he's trying to say there. That many people who took bullets even in private, it didn't necessarily have to be a public display.
That's a
Senior
debate
OZ
we can have.
says, I think, yeah, it's a good debate. I think those who took
But
bullets privately
for
and
me, what
those
I
who
tell
took bullets.
here's one thing. Here's one thing, Miss Chomba. What I would say to you: if you are my friend,
Yes.
right, don't tell me you defend
Uh,
me in public. Our friendship is not
mm,
valid. You know, for me, that's my personal stance. If you and I are friends, and I think somebody said we don't so much remember the words of our friends, but the silence, the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
Of our friends, yes.
We need to teach loyalty. If you believe what I'm doing is right and you support me, and sometimes you may not fully, and I think maybe we also need to teach what covenant relationships look like. Look at the relationship that David and Jonathan had. That's another conversation to go, but I'm not gonna go there. So
I think that like you are saying, it's really debatable, because like one time I put up a Facebook post and said, there are some people who pray publicly, and then there are those who pray in the closet. So are you going to say that the ones who are praying in the closet are not making any contribution?
No, it's different. This is a different conversation.
No, even in this case, no. Even in this case, and we should also remember that, yes, the Facebook community is very influential, but it's not the entire Zambia. So there are people who took bullets, and their taking bullets was not publicized, was not televised on Facebook or on TV, but it doesn't mean they were not loyal.
So it's televised.
Yeah. You see, it will not always be televised. I remember that day when we just heard the rumor that someone was planning to switch off the internet. I made a post and said, don't you dare switch off the internet, because you are actually convincing more electorates not to even vote for you. And immediately I got an inbox on my Facebook from a police officer who said, "Tone down, madam. Tone down, we still need you after elections." And
those are the kind of threats we were getting,
Yes, those are the kind of threats. True. So imagine, of course, others will feel like, oh, I never took any bullets for the UPND. But those are bullets we were taking in private, and we didn't televise them. Anyway, let me read the next message. You see, it's funny, really. It's debatable. We must come back for that debate. Cholwe David Munafumpa says, I think I didn't.
We need to have an educated voter. Then the so-called qualified Zambians will show up. We vote for our own kind. So if we have substandard MPs, it all reflects to the voters. True that? True.
Yeah, very true. Douglas Sikwanda says the elections industry, voter education is critical. Fix this industry and you have a progressive country. Thank you, Douglas.
You need to be on one of these shows one of these days.
Absolutely. That's a brother with depth.
You need to come in.
Thank you, Douglas.
Coach, I have a comment on that one.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a comment on that point. That is a very valid point, and to me it borders on two parties. First of all, it borders on ECZ, and also it borders to our political parties. Because if you just check, you see something very interesting. The number of rejected votes were actually more than the number of some of the presidential candidates that they were getting. You would find that the presidential candidate would get 0, but the number of rejected voters would actually be more. Now, where could be the problem there? The problem could be on the education towards the electorates. There was a problem there. So the ECZ did not do much work, and also the political parties, they didn't do much work. So to me, if that point is a very valid point, next time, I love Shindano. I have no problem with him, and to me is vibrant and is good, and he beat everyone to the game. But one thing that I know is much work was supposed to be done, and also political parties They just thought that the moment we take the message to the radio, we take the message to this, they didn't educate properly their people, and some of the people could have just voted for the sake of voting, and some could have just done. So the problem is not the people that were voting, but the political parties did not send the correct information to the people. So next time, let's ensure that some of the political parties, they do the right work that is supposed to be done, so that we see their personal decisions in terms of voting.
Absolutely true, Pastor Chris. Actually, truth be told, the institution itself, the ECZ, just like all other government institutions, have suffered from a level of lack of professionalism. I know they did what they could. Mr. Shindano cannot be faulted. I know the man personally. I think he's a top-notch guy. But you have to realize that you're still dealing with a government where there was a lot of, what's that word again? We just said it recently. Cronyism and nepotism. So there was a lot of people, even in the ECZ, who were not there on merit. So for example, I feel the communication department of ECZ was a minus. They did not bother to do proper civic campaign on exactly the process. And you notice how much suspicion there was all the time during the countdown of the elections, because everybody was wondering, what is this going on? Why are there delays? But the truth is, the delays were there because all the stakeholders demanded that those conditions are put in there, but they were not, us, the electorate, were not informed. The same ECZ did not do enough voter campaign training. You know, these people think you just translate flyers into 7 languages, post on Facebook, and you've done a job. It's more than that. And for me, the answer is simple. It's incompetence on the part of people in that organization, along with many government organizations. I'm hoping that this new government is going to do a full appraisal and audit of personnel in government, so that all those people who went there who do not qualify, who do not have the competence to perform, they should be flushed out, so that you put people that know what they're doing. Then we can start to see proper information, including from the ECZ.
Awesome.
And I think, which is very good. And I think that voter sensitization should not just start in the year of elections. It should be an ongoing process. The same way we have treated things like the anti-malaria campaign, the HIV/AIDS campaign, even voter education must be there all the time. I hope the secondary schools are also doing their part as they teach civic education, which I feel like that standard has gone down, but we really need to up our game as well. Let me read. There was one last, I think, message from, what was his name? Okay, from Arsenic Dehadrox. Wow, I don't know. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. He says, prior preparation before time is the best resolve to respond to this extraordinary opportunity. It's important to understand the question at hand. The government has expectations, and so the process is robust. Our mindset needs a few tricks to adjust to service for the common development of all. I think just to comment on that one, I remember way back we had this conversation when the HIV/AIDS pandemic was killing a lot of people. And we had this conversation whether people should volunteer or they should get paid in order to fight the pandemic. So even now, I think these are some of the conversations that we need to have, because it's for the good of everyone in the country. Sometimes we just want paid jobs in order to save the nation, but can you volunteer if it's really important, if you know that this will contribute to the welfare of the country at large? Senior OZ says, on the political parties, you are being unfair because the environment was not fair for them to teach voters because of political oppression and intimidation. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think those are
as we are winding,
yes, please.
As we are winding up, you and Rev, I think Pastor Chris has battled with internet today. I think. Rev, is it your babies in the background?
Do you mean you can hear them?
Yes.
Yes, yes, we can. And you look
So,
so genuinely surprised.
so as we wind up, uh, I still your closing remarks, Rev and Miss Chumba. Pastor Chris has had a bit of challenges with the internet. Um, your last words on today's topic, but also you didn't answer. What's a process that Zambians that feel qualified should take in view of, you know, there's you can't come to the Father except through me. You can't see the president except what should Zambians that are out there? They need a strategy. There's so many Zambians that believe they can add value. What do you think what strategy do you think they should take for them to be able to go through?
I think let them give this government another chance. Maybe they'll be different because once the ministries have been properly put in place and once they do an audit within the government structures, maybe we don't know. Maybe it'll be different. Maybe it will no longer be in Chekeleko and all that rubbish we saw in the maybe this time around people will be able to write a letter and the ministry responds. But I know that government workers generally have a lot of lethargy. That's a fact. And I've found personally that trying to use government just throws you into red tape and bureaucracy. And this is not just in Zambia, it's all over the world. You get into that red tape and bureaucracy, which is a nightmare. So many times, if you can do a roundabout way and change the strategy, maybe that can work better. So for Zambians who feel they are qualified, they have to look for a different strategy because I know many people have been writing letters and making appeals and they've just not worked. And then as for my closing remarks, let's go out there and do what we can. You know, one thing that I'm big on, I believe that, you can't keep a good man down. You know, consistency is the key to success. And you can't run away from the fact that you must keep knocking. The Bible says, knock and it shall be opened unto you. Keep on knocking on those doors. You may knock on this door today, nobody hears. Go knock on another door. Go knock on another door. Sooner or later. And also, thank God for social media. Thank God for many of these platforms because nowadays we can take these ideas and go out there and begin to broadcast them on various platforms, including the newspapers and magazines. And you really never know who's going to pick up that magazine and read it. So I feel for me, and even being on platforms like this one, you never know who's going to watch this recording 6 months from today, because they are bored to death. So I feel we should not stop showcasing what we can do. Remember when David went to the brothers, he didn't say ati, oh, me, I'll be quiet. They will sense that I can fight Goliath. He said it. Who's this uncircumcised physician? I can beat this guy. He was so confident. They said, Kamfanaka. So for me, I feel that's what we need. We need to be assertive as Zambians. We should stop apologizing. We call it stupid humility. I agree totally with the terminology. I was offended when I heard it first, but I agree. Stupid humility. That is not humility, it's just being stupid. If you know you can do something, go out there and say, I can do it. Ask Pastor Chris, how are Nigerians when they come? Is this how you do your singing here? This is not good. Let me show you how we do it, And you're like, dude, we've been doing this. Us is better. For me, that's called being assertive. If you know you can do something, do it. Coach, you're always assertive yourself. I know you. You don't sit around and say, hey, I'm sorry. No, if you're good, you're good. Say it.
Yeah.
And for me, I agree. That's the way we need to go as Zambians. That's my concluding remarks.
Lovely, wonderful. I love those concluding remarks. Absolutely powerful. I think that we need to fight that attitude, that syndrome, whatever it is, that disease, coach. We must make sure that those who are surrounding Bali do not even fall into that temptation of now blocking him away from us, the citizens. We've had it, it's enough. We should not keep quiet again. If you go to State House this time, they block you or they ask you to pay, you come back and publish it. You go to social media, You publish it yourself and you call out. And for me now, this is the approach I have taken. When someone tries to make me pay, like let's say for parking, they're making me pay when they don't work for the council, I ask them, what is your name? So that when I go to the police, I know who I am talking about, who wants to take my money. And they stop. Yeah. So even now, if we take a letter, I remember I'm one of those who's also taken many letters to different ministries, including the Ministry of Gender. And really, I did not have any kind words for the former Minister of Gender. She never replied to any one of my letters at all. But she would pretend when you meet her, she would pretend like, oh yeah, no, just write to my office and all that. You write to the office, no response, not even a regret letter. I'd written to the Ministry of Religious Affairs so many times, no response. So, but this time, I think if people are not going to do their work, if they're not going to respond, even in form of a regret, we need to be calling them out. We must fight this as citizens. We must come out very strong. And now I will be telling them, when I go to any ministry with a letter, I will be telling them, if you don't respond to me in the next 2 days, I will call you out. Yeah.
Pastor Chris, your closing remarks.
My closing remark is coming with a question, because I know that I'm going to have a problem with my internet. With what you have said, or with what we have said so far, there is somebody with brilliant ideas that is listening to this program. And he's saying, I don't have where to start from. Coach, Reverend, if I approach you, can I be helped? Are you able to take me through? Can I use this platform as an opportunity to sell my ideas, my talent, my skill, my profession? And that is the question of Steady Coach, to say, what should be the process? I was turned back to State House, and there is somebody who has got an idea to transform a province, a nation, and probably him even was allowed to enter State House, but up to now, nothing has come forth. Coach Steady, do I have hope that I can take it up from here? Rev, if the coach does not pull through, can your prayers help me to go through? I feel I have spoken on behalf of many, and we have Chomba there, who is a young entrepreneur, and she's saying, I have the ideas, but the avenues to reach the destination or the final has been a challenge. So can this platform be of help in any way? So I think my answer would be, this is the question that we are trying to ask ourselves. Can qualified Zambians rise up and take up this challenge? If you are there, this is a like mind. We can start from here, and then we can move forward. The majority that we can have and say, this one qualifies, then we know what we can do. We know the approach that we can do. The offices or the offices are still the same, but the officers, there is a change. So let's know that there is totally a different approach, and this is a different ballgame. So don't let your ideas, don't let your vision, don't let your skill, let it not rot. Bring it up, as long as it's for the purpose of developing a Zambia. We started with 1 point. History is going to judge us. There will be people that will be saying, were there some people that lived on this planet, in this country called Zambia? If you are there, let's take up this challenge. And I love what Reva said. What we need is transformational leadership. And transformation does not start on top there. It starts on the bottom. You transform one person, you transform another one. Then at the end of the day, the nation of Zambia will be the envy in the land, in the southern region, which I believe To me, it's my conviction, because if I look around and see what is prevailing, I would say that in Zambia we could have better. It could be better. It could be a better way. And I think that's where we are going. With this type of mindset, I can sense that transformation is coming, revolution is coming. And not only that, it's good to use a good term. Let's work towards reviving Zambia again. I think, to me, that is the approach that we have.
Thank you so much, Rev. Thank you so much, Ms. Chomba. And I also want to say something. I think everyone that is here relates. A lot of our young people are so entitled. I see it most of the times when they come to me, oh, coach, I want you to be my coach. They're not looking for a coach. They're looking for a selfie mate. Take pictures with coach and go and post on social media. That's not what mentorship, that's not what coach is about, you know? So you want a coach, you want a mentor, you want me to sit with you 24/7. There are days like right now, I'm doing this. I've been in sessions and working. By the time I was getting on this broadcast, my lunch is already cold out there. I don't have time to keep kushita tushimi. If you want Bali to take you on, if you want anybody to bring you in their circle, you must be willing to bring your A game to the next level. And you must be teachable enough. You must be teachable enough, you know, to be able to say, I am ready for this. None of us, you feel like we are just people who don't have time coming on this, but all of us are busy. We have to make sacrifices to add value to this country. You have to be open, you have to be teachable. This thing of saying, oh, I was at State House with Bali, you took selfies, now you use State House as a tool to be able to get chicks out there and get contracts. No. That's not the type of Zambia we are looking for. We are looking for men that are respectful. We are looking for men that are credible, women that are credible. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for a bunch of hungry people. So you must know what you're offering yourself. I've had people tell me and says, oh, hook me up so I can do TV and radio. Says, why do you want to do it? And says, I want to be known. That's not the reason why we do what we do. There's a purpose. If we show up, there's a purpose that we want to add value to our country. So we need this mindset business, Bali and your team. You need a credible team that will help you to change the game. Papers won't fix it because we've had a lot of educated people in this country. Money won't fix it. There's a certain type of people you need that have a proper heart. And I'm glad Pastor Chris gave that level of what it must look like. So I think for me, that's my heart. And then lastly, this offering is not for PF people. You that were dancing, no, this does not apply to you. This is for Zambians that are ready to do what they're supposed to do. You can't be, you couldn't have been a bootlicker out there and say, now I want to offer myself to Bali. No, we are not talking about that caliber. Yours, we said it, go farming. That's your new season. Go and farm. That's if they don't come after your money you took from the Zambian
and stay farming for good. We don't want to see you.
Exactly. Just go out there all out. It's a new dawn. It's a new dawn. Bali has said it's a new dawn. God bless you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. You have a beautiful day and a beautiful time.
Thank you.
Awesome. Cheers.
Awesome.